at some point we just got to fight. And the illustration I use is the understanding of like a UFC fight where people can be, submitted. I don't know how you feel about UFC. I like to watch UFC with my boys. And one of the things that's interesting, I talk about in the book, right? There's some of these fights where somebody's just getting beat up. Like, if they're standing, they're boxing or whatever, they're just getting touched up. It's not going well. They're going to lose the fight if it goes to the scorecard. They're losing this fight. And there are sometimes these fights, whether it's a 3 or a 5 round fight, where like right at the last minute, where it looks like this guy or this girl is done, she's finished, she's defeated, where she's able to somehow switch it around and put a submission hold on somebody, and it's the greatest comeback ever. And it's the danger of those submission holds that I think sometimes makes UFC fighting and MMA fighting so exciting. But I think about the life of Joseph, and maybe your life, is that you're just trying to hold on. And it feels like right now that life is trying to submit you. And like I said, I love some of the fights where somebody is able to not tap out. They make it through that round, right? And they come back, and it's the greatest comeback. They come back in that next round and they win. And that may be where you're at right now. And here's the reality: is one of the things I love about Joseph, one thing I love about Jesus, one thing I love about the strength that God can give you, is they didn't tap out. Whether Joseph was in the palace or whether he was in the prison, in whatever case he was in, he didn't tap out. He didn't allow the suffering. He didn't allow the unfairness of his life to submit him. And the power of what God brought in his life, he was able to have an amazing comeback story. And so can you, as long as you don't give up. You can do this because you're not alone. And God is in a covenant relationship with you. You're in the greatest place that you could ever be in. I'm going to read this last piece from this chapter from page 74 to close out today. Listen, my friend, life will never be fair, but your greatest advocate is generous and gracious. He has literally felt your pain. And because of that pain, he made a covenant for all eternity to never leave you high and dry. His covenant love for you will take you to places you never thought possible. You may be confused about what to do next, so ask him for wisdom. James 1:5-6 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. You may be mad, so ask him to overwhelm you with generous grace. Whether or not it makes sense, just know that he is developing in you exactly what you'll need to fulfill your life's purposes. Whatever you do, stay in the ring. Don't tap out. God's with you. He's for you. And he can give you the strength to get through whatever unfair circumstance you're walking through.